In this video, we'll cover organizing your drives with some tips to help you find things you're looking for faster. Google Drive is cloud storage, and that means automatic syncing of your files and no programs to download. Being in the cloud also changes the way your files are organized. On your computer, your hard drive uses file paths like C:/folder/filename that tell your computer where to look for a file on a hard drive. In Google Drive, each file is identified by a URL. When you're in any file in Google Drive, take a look at your address bar and you'll see that unique file URL. This is what makes link sharing, like we talked about in our collaboration video, possible. So how does this affect you? First, we need to rethink how we use folders. Instead of an analog to paper folders, think of them instead as labels or sticky notes. If you're familiar with labels in Gmail, this is the same concept. So in Google Drive, both My Drive and shared drives, folders work as visual organization to let you clean up spaces and help you search for things. Two things about folders as labels. First is that the last modified date is for the folder label itself, not for files using that label. This can be a little confusing because it can make it seem like projects or content has not been updated even when it has. Second, when we change ownership of a folder, we are just changing ownership of the label, not the files inside the folder. Making a new folder is as easy as clicking the +New button and choosing Folder. Note that making a subfolder works the same way. Just make sure to have your parent folder open when you click the +New button. Google will let you nest up to 20 subfolders deep. You can move files or folders to other folders by clicking and dragging and multi-selecting as usual. Clicking and dragging is easy, but it can be a pain when you're moving to subfolders or to a shared drive. In these cases, it's usually quicker to select your file, then right-click and select Move To and use the navigator to choose the folder or subfolder. In addition to moving files and folders, you can also add shortcuts. Making a shortcut or pointer gives you easy access without moving or making a copy. To make a shortcut, right-click and choose Add Shortcut to Drive. You can make shortcuts of files and folders in both My Drive and shared drives. You'll see a little curved arrow to indicate it's a shortcut. 3 things about shortcuts. First, shortcuts are not copies, so any changes to the original file will also be seen in the shortcut file and vice versa. Second, making a shortcut doesn't change the permissions of the original file. So adding a file shortcut to a shared folder won't automatically share the file with everyone who has access to the folder. People in the shared folder will be able to see the shortcut even if they can't open it. Keep this in mind if you're making a shortcut from one shared drive to a different shared drive. Third, you can't make a shortcut from a shortcut, only original files and folders. When organizing My Drive, people often want to add folders to their Shared With Me and Recent sections. The short version is that you can't directly organize Shared With Me and Recent, but I'll show you a workaround that will make it a little bit easier to find your files. When someone shares a file with you, it's visible in Shared With Me and accessible via a link sent to you by email. This means that it can sometimes be a lot of digging to find the file you're looking for. To help you organize and quickly access these files, you have the option to add a shortcut to your My Drive, or essentially add a My Drive label to the file. You can do this by right-clicking on a file that has been shared with you and choosing Add Shortcut to Drive. You can then further organize the file directly if desired. Just like other shortcuts, this is not a copy of the file, and making a shortcut does not affect the owner's file at all. This is just changing labels that are private to you for your own organization and easy access. The file will now show in your My Drive, and you can move it to folders just like it was one of your own files. Shifting gears to file names themselves, we'll also see a few differences between hard drives and Google Drive. On your computer's hard drive, you can't have 2 files in the same place with the same name. You may have noticed that you'll often get a number added to the end of the file if you download something twice, for example. Google Drive doesn't care if you have 500 files with the same name in the same place because they're all using that unique URL identifier. This does mean that it's a good best practice to name your G Suite files as soon as you make them. We also suggest adding more information to file names, such as dates or project names, to make them easier to find and differentiate. For example, Agenda is not a great file name, but Google Service Team Agenda May 25th, 2020 is a good one, especially if future agendas all use the same format. You can rename files in one of 2 ways, by right-clicking and choosing Rename when you're in Drive View, or for G Suite files from inside the app by clicking on the title. There are a few other things we can do to make finding files and folders easier. First, we can color code our folders. Right-click on a folder and select Change Color to make your folder easier to spot. Next, we can star files and folders. If you use stars in Gmail, this works the same way as a one-click label. To star files or folders, right-click and choose Add to Starred. You can then click on Starred to find it quickly or search by Starred in the advanced search. Another way to organize your My Drive is to use priority workspaces, accessed by clicking Priority on the sidebar. You can also make Priority your default homepage in your My Drive settings. To make a new workspace, click Create Workspace and give it a name. Think of this as a new label. Then click to add up to 25 files to your workspace. Because your workspace is just a label for quick access, adding files to your workspace does not move files out of their original location, and deleting workspaces does not delete the file, it just removes the label. You can add more files by clicking View Workspace or the three dots menu, and remove files by clicking the three dots menu next to the file name. From the Workspaces menu, you can rename, hide, or delete the workspace. Stay tuned for even more videos on getting the most out of Google Drive. If you have questions, use the IT Service Portal at help.ncsu.edu and check out all of our G Suite trainings at go.ncsu.edu/learnit.